Hello, and welcome to the Gamer's Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and finishing off Monopoly Month with episode 404, today we're going to be talking about Advance to Boardwalk. Advance to Boardwalk was manufactured in 1988 by Parker Brothers. It is an area control and area influence game. The game runs for about an hour of game time and seats 2 to 4 players. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we?
Uncle, we want to be just like you, rich.
Build hotels on Boardwalk in my Advance to Boardwalk game. The action is fast. The stakes are high.
I'm rich.
You boys catch on fast. Advance to Boardwalk and Monopoly. Parker Brothers kind of fun.
In 1985, Parker Brothers released Advance to Boardwalk. The game uses a lot of the Monopoly themes, but it is an entirely standalone game that has nothing really to do with Monopoly other than that. Advance to Boardwalk is the United States version of this game, but as stated in my tactics video, Boardwalk was named different things in different countries depending on which country Monopoly was released in. The games are also released in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, and Sweden. The game does come with multiple pieces. It comes with a game board, 80 hotel units, 20 of each color, 2 regular dice, 1 colored die, a deck of 28 fortune cards, 20 property cards, and 4 tokens, which include a baby buggy, a roller skate, a sailboat, and a moped. To set up this game, place the game board in the center of the playing area. Sort the property cards by color and place each one opposite the matching color and property value on the game board. Your property cards should look like this picture. Shuffle the deck of fortune cards and place them face down in the space on the game board labeled Fortune Card Draw Pile. Each player then chooses a token and places it on the start space. Depending on the number of players, each player takes the hotel units that match the color of his or her token. 4-player game will get 14 hotel units, a 3-player game will get 16 hotel units, and a 2-player game will get 20 hotel units. Each player draws 2 fortune cards off the top of the deck, looks at them, and places the cards face down in front of him or her for later use. In turn, each player rolls the 2 standard dice. The player who rolls the highest number goes first, then the turn passes to the left. On your turn, try to become the owner of as many properties as the roll of the dice will allow by building the greatest number of hotel units on them. Use fortune cards whenever possible to help accomplish this goal. The following steps outline your turn order, which consists of 6 options. Number 1, roll all 3 dice. Number 2, build a unit or units if possible. If you roll an F on the colored die, disregard the numbered dice and draw a fortune card. Number 3, take a property card if appropriate. Number 4, move your token and any opponent's token if necessary. Number 5, if you wish, play a fortune card and follow its directions. And finally, number 6, end your turn by passing the dice to the left. When you roll all 3 dice, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The numbered dice indicate how many millions of dollars you have available to spend on building hotel units along the boardwalk. The colored die features 4 colors, each color matching a color zone on the game board. The color you roll is the color of the zone in which you must build. The W on the dice stands for wild. When rolled, you may choose any one zone to build on. And as I stated before, the F stands for fortune card. Whenever you roll an F, disregard your roll of the numbered dice. Instead, you must take 1 fortune card from the top of the draw pile. You may play any fortune card on this turn by following its directions, but you must end your turn directly after playing it. If you do not play a fortune card, end your turn. When building a unit or units, there's a couple things to keep in mind. Each of the properties along the boardwalk have a specific $1 million amount attached to them. Building is the act of placing one or more of your hotel units onto a property or onto other hotel units already on a property. Building a unit or units on one or more properties within the color zone rolled whose total worth is equal to or less than the sum of the dice. There are a few conditions to building. First, you can only build one unit on any vacant property at one time. Second, you may build more than one unit on any occupied property. Third, you may build units atop a hotel which contains units previously built by an opponent. Fourth, you may build units on properties worth less than the sum of your dice. And fifth, you must build at least one unit on a turn unless you roll a F on the colored dice. Each of the properties along the boardwalk have a corresponding property card. When you become the owner of a piece of property, immediately take the matching property card from either side of the game board or from the player who holds it. You must take a property card as soon as you become the owner in order to first keep track of the property's ownership, and second, verify your token's position on the game board. The sum of your property card's value must equal the value of the space in which your token rests. You can become a property owner in the following ways. First, by building a unit on a vacant lot. Second, by building a greater number of units on top of those already built by the current owner. For example, your opponent has built one unit on a property worth $5 million in the red color zone. On your turn, you roll a 6 and a 4 red. You can decide to build 2 units on top of your opponent's property unit. Now you become the owner of this property and take the property card from your opponent because you have built more units on this property than any other player. In the event of a tie for property ownership, if 2 or more players have the same number of units on a property, the player whose unit is closest to the bottom of the hotel is the owner. During the game, the position of your token on the boardwalk must reflect the total worth of all of the properties you own. Remember, add together the values of your property cards. Therefore, each time you become the owner of a piece of property, your token is moved ahead the number of spaces equal to the value of that property. Likewise, if you lose a piece of property to an opponent, your token is moved back the number of spaces equal to the value of that property. On your turn, you must move your token and any other player's token when necessary. If you land on an F space on your turn as a result of moving forward, you get an added bonus of taking the top fortune card from the draw pile. Fortune cards can help you build more hotel units, acquire more properties during the game, even move an opponent who's in the lead backwards. Therefore, property cards are good to gain whenever possible and can become an important part of the game's strategy. At the end of your turn, you may play one fortune card, except for those fortune cards which instruct you to play them immediately after you roll the dice. To play a fortune card, simply follow the directions on the card. Be sure to adjust property cards and tokens if necessary. During the game, keep your fortune cards face down in front of you so that way other players cannot see them. Once you have played a fortune card, place it face up in the fortune discard pile. Please note, whenever the fortune draw pile is depleted, shuffle the cards in the discard pile and place them face down and create a new draw pile. After you've completed these steps, end your turn by passing the dice to the left. The game ends when one player has no hotels with which to build at the start of his or her turn, or when one player has reached the last space on the boardwalk. To win the game, the player who controls the most millions of dollars worth of property, as represented by his or her tokens on the boardwalk, is the winner. In the case of a tie, the winner is the player who owns the most properties. Well, this has been an overview of Advance to Boardwalk. Advance to Boardwalk is a pretty easy game to pick up. It's got some nice Monopoly theming to it, but it is its own standalone game, which doesn't really have much to do with Monopoly besides the theming. The game is relatively easy to pick up. Kids shouldn't have a problem playing it. It is very easy to learn and to run off of. If you pick up one from another country, say like Great Britain or something like that, the game runs exactly the same. The board will look different depending on what country it's from, but it will play exactly the same, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. The game itself goes online anywhere from about $10 to $30, so as games go, it's not hard to find, but you might have to look around a little bit to find a complete copy because there are a lot of pieces in this game, so it is very easy to find incomplete copies online. So I would recommend looking around for it. If you haven't played Advance to Boardwalk before, it actually is a really good game. So if you haven't played it before, I would recommend playing this game. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamers Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on Advance to Boardwalk from Parker Brothers and for sticking through Monopoly Month with us. If there's a game in the future you would like us to review or go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.